Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here, and if you're brand new, then welcome. If you're not new here, welcome to you as well. I'm in Tennessee in Zone 7B, and I'm standing in my tunnel, my high tunnel, and y'all can see all this lusciousness behind me. It is the first week of November and things are looking good in the garden. Last week I did a full garden tour, so if you didn't see that, definitely go check out that video. But today I'm going to talk about how I'm able to grow food 24/7, 365 days of the year. That's what this video is going to be about, because today we're actually going to start more seeds. I'm going to tell you what I'm starting, why I'm starting it, and how this method allows me to have food that I can pick any day of the week. So first things first, I have turned on the water and I've watered everything that I can. So once a week, so everything out here, let me back up. Everything out here is on drip irrigation except the things that are in containers. Like you see that lemon balm back there. And then I have two circular containers or raised bed containers throughout the middle of the greenhouse, but everything else outside of those things are on drip irrigation. So I really don't need to have to come down here and water. And as you can see, the sun is sunning. Let's go out here for a minute. Let's get a little bit of a breeze while we can. So it is a beautiful day today. The high is like 75. It is perfect fall weather. There is a gentle breeze, but in the tunnel it's a little bit warmer, obviously, because of the plastic and the enclosed space. I didn't even look, but if I had to guess, it's probably like 90 degrees in there. So we'll do this part of the video, the talking part, out here, so I can enjoy this gentle breeze instead of the sun beaming like directly on me in the hot tunnel. But there's no complaints here. It's amazing how it's the first week of November and we still have 75-degree temperatures. It's only gotten cold once. That was the week of October the 15th, right around what we call the first frost date. I don't know that it actually frosted, but it did get down to like 33 degrees, and it was that way for like 3 nights in a row. But since then it has been in the high 70s, low 80s, and at night it's been in the high 50s, and I think this week is going to be like in the low 60s as the low. So I've looked at the 10-day forecast. It's still saying the same thing. I'm certainly not complaining at all. I'm going to take the fall temperatures while we can get it. But the time has changed, so that means we have even less time to work in the garden if we kind of get out at our normal time. It'll start getting dark here around 4:30, between 4:30 and 5. And so really, by 4 o'clock, all garden stuff has to be done. But one of the reasons why I love growing in the fall is because it is such low maintenance compared to what I call the summer press. If you're new here, we have 3 main growing spaces. So the hot tunnel where you saw me before, we grow in that year-round, 24/7, 365. But we also have an outdoor space here that you can see. That's an in-ground outdoor space. That's 4,000 square feet, and we grow in that only in the summertime. And then I have a spot behind my house with 5 raised beds that we grow in the summer as our second succession planting, and then in the fall and winter we do our garlic, and then in the spring we'll do our onions. So it is not necessarily, we don't rely on that for fall excuse me, and winter eating. It is more so just for garlic, and then in February we'll do our onions. But the high tunnel, the greenhouse, is where we do the majority of our growing. So today I'm going to be starting some more seeds. I've kind of outlined the seeds that I'm going to start. I'm going to tell you the reason why I chose these particular seeds and why I'm not starting everything. I will explain all of that, and then I've already watered. I'm going to fertilize, and then we have an order that we have to get ready to drop off tomorrow, so we'll get that ready as well. But let me know in the chat if you are growing a fall winter garden. Let me know how things are going. I would love to know. Okay, and so the temperature in the tunnel is 86, so not quite 90, but definitely warmer in here than it is out there. And right now I'm not feeling the breeze, but we're going to get to it. So I've already filled up my pots. I'm using the 2.5-inch pots from Bootstrap Farmer in my tray. I could have used the 6 cell, and the reason why I didn't use the 6 cell is because for these I don't want to have to up pot them. I want them to go from here to the ground. And so just because as the temperatures will eventually get colder, I will not be out here as much. I didn't want to have to come down here and up pot, you know, in the freezing cold just to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the 2.5-inch pots, which means they'll have enough room to grow and go from here to the ground. Now let's talk about why I say I can grow 24/7, 365 days of the year. Now, number one is because I have a high tunnel, right? So this provides a season extension. So when you have a greenhouse or a high tunnel, it extends your season. So that means that you can either on the front end, you can start things a lot sooner than starting them outside. And also on the back end, you're able to extend your harvest and have more harvest time on the back end versus cutting that short. For example, if I was growing outside, let's take the summer for example. When I grow outside, I usually put my stuff in the ground usually in May. My average last frost date is usually around April 15th, somewhere between April 15th and April the 20th, somewhere along in there. And if you're brand new and you don't know what a frost date is, all you have to do is go to Google and say, what is my frost date for Chicago, Illinois? Put in your zip code or put in your city and state. It will tell you your first and last frost date. You need to know that as a gardener, or you can go to the Farmer's Almanac. But my last frost date is between April 15th and April the 20th. But that's an estimate. It may or may not stop freezing then. I may still get a frost on May the 1st. So when I'm planting outside, I give myself 2 to 3 weeks past that estimated frost date to put my stuff out there so that I don't risk them freezing and the temperatures getting too low. Versus in my high tunnel, I plant my summer stuff around the first week of April. Now, I can do that because this is what we call protected culture, right? It is protected all the way around, so it's not going to get the elements that it's going to get outside. So it may be 40 degrees outside, it'll be 55 degrees in here. So that's one way that I can get what we call season extension. On the back end of that, same thing. When I have my summer crops out there, now we just cleared our summer crops like in October. Because we still had favorable weather and we were still picking peppers until we just pulled them out of the ground. I think it was the first week of October. But if I still had peppers in here, they would very, very much so still be producing. Why? Because it's warmer in here. And so I'm extending my season. So even though it may be 60 degrees at night outside, in here, it may be like 65, 67. And peppers are good up to 55 degrees. So I could still be harvesting peppers if I wanted to in November. Now, I didn't do that because I had more than enough. I had an abundant summer garden. So we pulled all of our summer stuff out of the high tunnel like early September. But that is what when I say season extension, that is what I mean. So number one, that's the reason why I can grow 24/7, 365. Now, the second reason I can grow 24/7, 365 all year long is because I do succession planting. And that is what we're doing today. Succession planting is when you plant the same crop multiple times in a season. I do this during the summer. I do it during the fall and winter. So today, the things that we are planting, this is either the second or the third time I am starting seeds for this particular crop. And I will continue to do this until around January. Okay? Because again, I have the tunnel, I can do that. Now, if you do not have a high tunnel, if you do not have a greenhouse, depending on what climate you're in, you can still succession plant. Like if you're in zone like 9 and in Florida where your temperatures are pretty much mild all the time, you can still succession plant. But again, depending on your zone and your climate and what you have covering your crops, you may not have a greenhouse. You may not have a high tunnel, but you may have what we call like a low tunnel hoop where you have some wire hoops that you can see that you've seen in my raised beds, and you put a frost cover over it. Again, if your winters are mild and you don't suffer from severe frost, you can succession plant over and over and over. So here's the key when it comes to succession planting. One, you want to know what it is that you want to succession plant and what it is that you need, and then how much time does it take to mature. So let's talk about what we're planting today, and I'm going to tell you why I picked these, okay? So the first thing I'm going to succession plant is bok choy. So I'm going to start more bok choy seeds. Here's the reason why. Bok choy is what I call a single serving. When you grow a bok choy plant, you get one bok choy. It does not give you shoots. It does not give you multiple bok choy. You get one bok choy plant. So if I plant 10 bok choy and they're all at maturity, I harvest all 10, I cook 10, I freeze 10, I give away 10, whatever it is I do, I'm done. That is it. And bok choy is a pretty fast growing crop. You can have bok choy in about 50 days. So if I did my first bok choy in September, which is what I think I did, they are all ready to be harvested right now. And I have been harvesting every week. But if I stop there, that means very easily I could harvest all of the bok choy that I did in September today, cook it this week. If I don't do anything else, I'm not going to have any more bok choy until next fall. Well, who wants to do that? Not me. I want food all year long. So that is why I am starting more bok choy. One, it has a short maturity date. And two, it's a single serving. Right? So once I harvest one, that bok choy plant is done. When you pull it up, that is the plant. So think about things that are one and done. Broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, carrots, beets. Those are what I call single serving vegetables. You plant it and you get that crop, and that crop is done. Now with broccoli, you can get side shoots, but you're not going to get a second head of broccoli. Okay? Versus when we're talking about things that are cut and come again, or things that keep producing. Lettuce keeps producing. Kale keeps producing. Collard greens keep producing. Those things, I can cut it and it's going to continue to grow. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm doing more bok choy, and I will continue to do bok choy neither one until I'm tired of it, or all the way up until the spring. Okay? Because I know with every one that I harvest, that is it. So I'm doing multiple successions. So the first succession is already ready to be harvested. It's been in the ground. I've harvested for the last 3 weeks. I have more to harvest. And then I have another succession coming right behind it that will be ready probably in another 2 to 3 weeks. Right? So now I'm going to plant, and then I have one more after that that's probably only been in the ground like 2 to 3 weeks. And so then now I'm going to start some more. So it's going to be a continuous cycle of bok choy, and I will put it wherever probably I harvested the last one. So that's the reason why I'm doing bok choy. The next thing I'm doing more of is broccoli. I am doing more broccoli because why? It's a single serving. Once you get the broccoli, it's done. And if you've been around, you know I absolutely love broccoli. You also know that I have not been successful at growing broccoli. 4 years in the game, your girl still hadn't. It's one of those things. I have not been successful at growing broccoli. But because I love it, I'm going to keep trying. So we're going to put more in the ground. The next thing that I am starting seeds on today is spinach. I have, I think, 3 spinaches right here. Spinach takes a long time to germinate. It likes cooler temperatures. It's just now starting to look decent, but it's growing slow just because it's still very warm. But once the temperatures get cool and stay consistently cool, it will kick in. But I know that I'm going to need more because right now I only have 3 plants. So I'm going to start more spinach. The next thing I'm going to start more of is arugula. Now, y'all know I don't like arugula because it has that spicy bite. But I'm on an adventure. I wanted to try something new and something that I've never grown just to see if I can grow it. Well, I have one plant. It's growing fine, but I have gotten some orders for arugula. So I want to grow a couple more to say that I have it, and then so I can actually taste it and see if I can make myself like it. So I'm going to do a couple of more of those. I'm also going to do some celery. I did celery in the spring. It did phenomenal. I had way too much celery that I was not able to harvest it all in time to be able to use it well. But celery does like a cooler temperature. So I've never tried it in the fall. So this is an experiment to try it and see. Again, I only need probably 2 or 3 stalks. 2 or 3 plants, and I'll be good. And then last, I'm going to do more lettuce. I do lettuce usually every couple of weeks, but it's probably been at least 4 to 5 weeks since I've done lettuce. Now, my lettuce is looking good, but because I sell a lot of lettuce and because we use a lot of lettuce, now let me go back. when you cut lettuce, the first cut is the freshest cut, right? And I can keep cutting off that same lettuce and keep eating it. But because I sell it, I try to keep multiple successions of lettuce so that my customers are always getting the freshest cut. Now, for me and just my family, I will cut off the same lettuce over and over again because it doesn't matter to me, right? And because I have access to it, I can always come out and get more. But the kind of lettuce that I grow, it literally can stay fresh in the refrigerator for a minimum of 3 weeks. Minimum. Because I grow quality lettuce. I grow the Salanova collection from Johnny's Seeds. That is I'm not gonna say that's the only lettuce I grow, but that's the majority of the lettuce I grow. It has a very, very great growing habit, and it lasts forever in your refrigerator. Now, it is more pricey, but you get what you pay for. So we're gonna do more lettuce so that we have it. When this starts looking bad, I already have something else to go in its place. So those are the reasons why I am doing succession planting. That's the reason why I'm doing those particular crops. And I will continue to do this through the season. Now, what I will do in next month in December is I will do more cauliflower, and I will probably do more cabbage. Right now, I have a lot of cauliflower. I have a lot of cabbage. Now, none of them have formed a head yet. But again, they are one and done. They're single serving. Once you get one, that's done. But because it has a longer maturity date, I'm not going to start it today. I'm going to start it probably the 1st of December. So that way, this will get more time to be established, and then I'll be able to kind of put something in its place. So timing is important. And again, very intentional. Now, let me know in the comments below what questions you have about succession planting. Let me know if you have practiced that. And if you've never done it before, I encourage you to do it. Think about crops that you grow that you really, really love, and start with crops that are once and done. Let's start there. For example, in the summertime, squash, it's once, well, no. Squash is not once and done. You get multiple squashes on the thing, but squash are usually hit by the squash bugs, so your plants don't last the whole summer. But think about things that are once and done that you want to make sure that you always have. That's a great place to start succession planting. If you like radishes, if you like carrots, things like that, have multiple things of carrots going at multiple intervals. One, so that you're not all having to harvest at one time, and then you have a season of where you have nothing to harvest, and also so that you can, stagger your harvest throughout the season. Okay, y'all, so I got all of the seeds planted, and they are back there. The whole tray is done. This tray here, do y'all see this? These are the seedlings I've been trying to get out for a month. Every week we have done a little bit at a time. I'm going to try to see if I can get the rest of them out today. Y'all, look at them. They still hanging on. Like, it has some purple in just because it needs more nutrients, but it's still hanging on, so I'm going to plant it. Y'all know all of them have been looking rough. All of these are overgrown. They have been in these pots for a couple of months, but they are still hanging on. They are not dead. They are going to go in the ground. Remember, we had 2 trays full of plants, and just because of time, we have not been able to get them all out at the same time. This is what's left. We have 6, let's see, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 plants. 21 plants. Can we get them out? Can we get them out? Let's try. Let's try. The majority of these are broccoli and cauliflower. There are a couple of cabbages in here. But again, y'all, so this is almost can serve as a second succession because they haven't been in the ground. They've been in these pots forever. You can see they've been in these pots forever. But that's the benefit of using some really good soil, right? Because I really haven't fertilized these. They have been up potted. They start off in 6-cell pots, and then they got up potted to these. But then also, I haven't done much. But once I put them in the ground, they will thrive, they will flourish because they'll have more space, more nutrients, and all of that. So let's see if we can get these other 21 out, and then we got to get our order ready for harvest. Okay, y'all, I only have 4 left. 5 left. 2, and then these 3 right here. That is it. So I got rid of, or got in the ground 16. I'm out of space. I don't have any more space, not another hole. So I'll hang on to these, and then I have an order that I need to harvest for a client. Let me pull up that order, get that done, and then if that creates any open space to put these, I'll put those in there. Hey y'all, we're right back where we started, at my car to take the harvest in. I appreciate you guys joining me today. So I did get all of the plants out. So finally, after a month, the 21 remaining plants are out. We started our second succession of seeds, and then we did a order. I harvested for an order for a client. So I'm feeling pretty good. I've watered everything. I water like deeply once a week and just come out here to get the stuff that's not on drip. I was going to fertilize, but I realized my fertilizer thing is clogged. I need my husband to unclog it for me. So I'll have to do that later on in the week. I think I'm going to leave my seeds out here just so that I don't have to put them in the house with the lights on and all that. It's warm in the day. It's cool at night, but the cool is only going to be like 60, I think, at the lowest this week. So they should be fine out here to germinate. I just have to remember to come out here and water them every single day because I haven't been coming out here every day just because there's not much to do. So I just got to remember to water my plants every single day. And then I'll check on them, and then I'll show you hopefully next week when we're out here doing a weekly walkthrough of the garden. We should have some germination on some of them. But I got my order harvested for the client. They wanted kale, arugula, and bok choy. So I got plenty to deliver tomorrow for the client, which is great. So if you're new, we do sell our excess produce to our local community. Like I said, excess. So we started doing that last year. It has been successful and it's a win-win. We still have plenty of food for us, and then we also are able to sell the excess and it not go to waste. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. I would love to know how your fall gardens are doing. If you have not subscribed to my channel, if you've been lurking in the background, stop lurking, come on to the forefront, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I would really appreciate it. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.